Hey, you guys, it's your boy Chris. I wanted to come back on here and talk about a few things about the BET Awards that I feel that are coming from my point of view and perspective and my review of the BET Awards show. So for this BET Awards show of 2020, BET.com announced they will feature Alicia Keys, Chloe and Haley, DaBaby, E-Smoke, Jennifer Hudson, John Legend, Jonathan McReynolds, Kane Brown, Lil Wayne, Megan Thee Stallion, Roddy Ricch, Sir, Summer Walker, Usher, and Wayne Brady, with some other appearances by amplified artists. And I just kind of want to start by saying that in no way am I saying that these artists are not, worthy, or I'm not calling them boring or anything in particular. But when you go through that list, there's really just not a lot of names that really kind of jump out at me besides Chloe and Halle, Megan Thee Stallion, and John Legend. His name jumps out. Now, Alicia Keys is very, very talented, and she puts out really good music and concepts and different things. But when I'm just from a visual perspective, I really don't see any names that really jump out at me. So already there, I just feel a little bit kind of not let down, but I do feel like there's not much to look forward to unless it is coming from a surprise element. And I mean, that's the perfect explanation, because Beyonce appears on the show, and I just feel like that was such a major, big thing. It was very inspiring. It was a wonderful, powerful message that Beyonce had to relay to Black people and their activism and things of that nature. It was just the perfect timing and everything. And it also came with that surprise element that I speak of. So that is just the perfect, exemplification of what I mean by, unless it being a surprise element, this listing is just not, for me, much to look forward to. So moving from that perspective of the lineup of the BET 2020 Awards, I kind of can see, also, I forgot to add, I can kind of see why Beyonce did, appear on the virtual award show with her message on camera, being that she was able to make that into such an impactful and meaningful action. Let's not forget that Chloe and Halle are pushing their album, Ungodly Hour. It's a really classic, really good album. I'd recommend it to anyone. I just feel like, that gives Beyonce that extra motivation, or that actual need to go to the award show. I mean, to be involved. I mean, for the most part, we do not see Beyonce as involved with the BET award show that we used to see, before, as she came up. But now she has an investment that is involved, and that is Chloe and Halle. Their act is, under Beyonce's record label, and so Beyonce had more than enough reason there to back them up in this award show. So all in all, I'm just saying, it would have been nice to see actual exciting acts other than Megan Thee Stallion or Chloe and Halle, and maybe even for some people, DaBaby or Summer Walker. But honestly, it would have been like, where was Tinashe? Where was the Migos? The Migos are very relevant Black artists that, a lot of people resonate with and uplift, and they were not there. Party Next Door, Rihanna, Nicki Minaj, Sway Lee, these are Black artists that also, do a lot for the people visually, and or Drake, or I don't really think that I have to go too much further than that. It's just not an exciting lineup for me. To me, it's just like a boring lineup. So moving on from the lineup, I just kind of want to talk about Megan Thee Stallion. Even when I watched the video, I was very surprised with the quality in combining the element of music video and on-stage performance. Now, when it comes to that was something that was a surprise. In that aspect, a lot of people raved over Megan Thee Stallion's performance, but let's not sit here. I'm not going to sit here and act like when I saw the performance, I was so blown away by any creativity, any authenticity. It really was very retroactive in a way. I mean, with this BET award show, there was just like a lot for me, like a lot of there were a noticeable amount of retroactive visuals from the Megan Thee Stallion music video, just reminded me so much of Rihanna's Hard music video. That Hard music video featuring Young Jeezy was one staple in Rihanna's music video collection that could easily be recognized. So, for me, I just felt like when I saw that, it just kind of made me feel like, okay, so was that a coincidence? Was that Megan Thee Stallion's choice? Was there machine control from the back end of the orchestrators of this colossal award show? When it comes down to it, there is a lot of money that goes behind a lot of aspects of making a show like this, including the brainstorming behind the visual aspects and everything. And so I'm just wondering whose choice was that? So that's just one retroactive prospect of the show that I noticed that just for me, it was a turnoff for me. I mean, in one way, it was hype. It was high energy for the moment, but when it sinks in, I got nothing new from it. And Megan Thee Stallion is a very new artist. She should be able to bring some new things to the table visually. Now, I love Megan Thee Stallion. I'm not trying to knock her, but that is why I'm like wondering, was that her choice? Was that choice out of her hands? I'm not sure, but it just kind of for me, it degraded the BET Awards show. I can't explain it, but I wanted more authenticity in that aspect, so I was surprised. But another retroactive performance that I felt like I saw was Summer Walker with Usher. I did not like how it just seemed like I was watching a work by Rihanna song featuring Drake all over again. It seemed like I was watching that music video all over again, but that it had just kind of diverted into something a little bit more extensive, just a little bit. And that's the same thing that with Megan Thee Stallion's video. Like there was a little bit of extensive effort behind the optics when it got toward the end of Megan Thee Stallion's music video, but it's also the same with Summer Walker and Usher's performance. It did seem like it did kind of extend a little bit of creativity on top of the main theme of the music performance that I feel like I got so much of from Rihanna's music video with Drake, and that was on Work. So, not only was the lineup, okay, so that's just two in the hole right there. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, first of all, we're getting a boring lineup when this is, the BET Award show. I did not get an excitement or name that jumped out on me from the lineup to begin with. And then to get into the show and see performances be retroactive, as I just explained, retroactive performances, that was a double whammer for me. So I'm just like, that I was not feeling that, and it just kind of adds to that kind of negative element of the show when you kind of just want so much more out of it. You kind of uplift the award show to certain standards, and it's just like, it was a little knockoff in that aspect. But let's talk about the lack of crowd engagement, which, obviously is no control over BET's specifically. There's no control over them and the current situation our country's in. and the lack of gatherings that are allowed and things of that nature. So even though the quarantine rendition of this show and why it had to be virtual the way it was is out of BET award shows control, it just seemed as though it still wasn't helpful. It still wasn't a helpful thing for them. It was something that, you know, allowed for the show to kind of give something a little new and fresh, but overall, you know, a lot of people that watch the show, that tune into the show, look forward to seeing the crowd, seeing the audience, seeing the people who are in the audience, and how they react to the performances. A lot of those elements are something very specific that people look forward to with the award show. So it just didn't help the BET award show. So let's talk about DaBaby, and let's talk about his reenactment of George Floyd and his performance. It just was another insensitive, it was just another negative aspect of the show that just came off very insensitive. As you know, a lot of our people, Black people, are portrayed as. It just was insensitive. It was a lack of creativity. It just not the time, just wrong timing. You still have people healing. You still have people outraged, upset. A big just turn off. It just was very uninspiring for me as a Black man. And I just wasn't feeling that. You know, DaBaby could have been a lot more creative, could have been a lot more impactful with the performance, other than mocking George Floyd's situation and the current state of our country. Moving on from him, Chloe and Halle, they did pick up the slack. Now, that's the only thing that I'm sorry. You know, for me, I just feel like they gave so much quality with their performance, and they did give a lot of creativity. I saw natural creativity, natural authenticity, and I just feel like they picked up the slack of the show. So in that aspect, I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap up the review here, because those were like the main things I wanted to get off my chest about the award show. I just hope that we can see a better virtual lineup maybe next year if we're in the same boat, or hopefully we can, you know, kind of get back to our old way of award shows. But this one just wasn't it for me, BET Awards. But I like selective things that the show involved, but at large, I just was very uninspired. It was just a lackluster show, and it was very retroactive. So on that note, I thank you guys for watching. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want, you can subscribe. Catch our next video. It was fun talking about this, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.